Sounds drive.
Welcome, everyone. This is episode 6 with Talkz Wit Tobyz, and this is my guest.
Sounds drive.
What's going on, y'all? My name's Devin Salazar. How y'all doing?
Nice to meet you, Devin. Nice to meet you, man. So, our first topic, we're going to talk about, just keeping a low profile on social media. So, give us a deep dive on that.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna say with keeping a low profile, with keeping it on the DL and social media and whatnot, a lot of it, I tend to just see it as almost like a tunnel vision. You hear the business, mind your own business, tunnel vision, whatnot. But I personally think of it in the sense of a tunnel vision, not to take a page out of Kodak's book or nothing like that, but really a lot of it's just trying to keep yourself focused on what you know is true to yourself and just keep along that no matter what the hell goes on else besides that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like, for me, on social media, I tend to keep a very low profile, but I'll still post stories because I've been doing podcasting for the past 3 months now, so I gotta find ways to promote my brand, make it more marketable, make it keep spreading the word out there. But most of the time, I don't really use social media for not much. There was a time a few years ago where I wouldn't even post things on social media for months, yet alone hell even a year or two. I took this break a couple of years ago where I didn't post anything for real, actual posts for 6 to 5 years. I'm still on that break right now, but I'm still gonna post more on my stories. Maybe one day, when the podcast truly flourishes, I'll post something a little something. But if I do something spectacular, if I do something meaningful, then I'll actually post for real. But as of right now, I'm just focused on just growing this podcast out and just keep elevating myself from here on. Just keep elevating.
Hey, absolutely, man. Trust me, I more than understand where that comes from because I'm gonna tell you that for context, for y'all who don't know, I'm a musician. I actually, on my own personal side, I didn't really do too much with posting or anything like that for myself, just because I didn't really have a whole lot of, I guess, self confidence with myself, so to speak, with what I really wanted to
That's
do.
all of us.
Really, be able to present myself in the best way I knew I could, which obviously everybody's been there at some point. But for me, I always had this idea in mind, I guess, of that of a practice account, which musicians, we all talk about that sort of idea quite a bit, just to be able to, one, spread awareness of what we do, and also to be able to get an insight of not just a finished product of what to expect, but also what really goes into that. Like, no joke, I recorded myself practicing every single day for the entirety of 2024, and as crazy as that might sound, I learned more than I could probably ever imagine through that, through different ideas of my own playing, and just being able to build upon that as sort of a foundational level. Like, I almost always use this standpoint where music in a sense is almost like math in a foundational standpoint, where there's different sort of elements where if you build upon a lot of them really well, but methodically, of course, then a lot of that's going to come through really, really well. And if it gets to a point where, I'll admit I've been guilty of this myself, where you tend to almost rush certain things to get a certain result or whatever the case is, because believe me, life happens, it gets stressful, I more than get it. You know, that's going to be a place where there's a sense of struggle involved. And, I'm not going to say I'm perfect, obviously, about it. No one really is. Like, it's really just my simple philosophy on that is really just to be able to find what works absolutely best for you as not even just as a musician, just as a person, period. To be able to find those aspects about yourself and build upon them as much as you can. And the challenge really comes along with that is really judgment from others, depending on how subjective you are to that. Obviously, in that sense, everyone's different. But this goes back to the idea, really, of tunnel vision, of keeping your own ideas in mind as much as I can really say you can. Is that, if you have this idea where you have a lot of self doubt, which tends to be a lot more common as the older you get, the more you can tend to keep those sort of ideas of yourself in line and just keep kind of, a straight and narrow sense of where you're going to end up, as unpredictable as certain things may be, as long as you have somewhat of a clear idea in mind, about 80% of the work is really already there. It's just a matter really of keeping due diligence and overall copying the good ideas that you hear around you and just capitalizing the hell out of it as much as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like everyone has like something they need to figure out. Everyone has an identity they need to find, and like you said, like it's not just like have it doesn't have to always do have to do with music. Like it takes time. It takes like practice. It takes like lots of like self discipline and like a lot of like rethinking over. But eventually, like in social media, like that's why I don't embrace social media that much. Is because of what you said, confidence and just like believing in yourself and just like your body image and stuff. Like I don't really buy into all of that, but I feel like that's not something that you should like play with because there's some people that are like very sensitive about like body image and stuff like that. Well, especially like some the females be mostly sensitive about that, but like I know like some dudes are like sensitive about that, but like you gotta like I said, like staying low key on social media is probably the best thing you could possibly do because you're not embracing the world that much and you don't want to embrace that part of like life. You don't want to embrace that reality. Because there's some people that I've seen that I know that actually think that social media is life. If you got like shit like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, shit, even like 6,000 volumes, like you elite, like you one of them ones, but like, bro, like what are you doing, man? Like, yeah, you got a lot of people that follow you, but like that's not real life, man. I'm probably going to bet like half them motherfuckers don't even know like what you like to do, or like who you are as a person. I'll say maybe a good 10 out of a couple thousand on that Instagram probably know who you really are. So that's
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yep.
So that's why I don't want to embrace Instagram like that because yeah, like it's a good tool to like talk with friends and like catch up with family. Like I love that part of Instagram, but I don't love to embrace it like that. Same thing with Snapchat. I wish I realized this like when I was younger, when I was going a little bit crazy on Snapchat, but like I wish I realized this when I was younger that not to do too much on Snapchat because my God, I've seen some pretty weird shit on Snapchat.
Oh yeah, haven't we all? Trust me, I get, I
Nah,
get it, bro. I
nah,
mean,
I've seen some pretty crazy shit on Snapchat, bro.
yeah, I get
Even
it, man.
even back in my high school days, like the the shit that was going that people be posting and just be doing was insane.
Oh
Here,
yeah.
here I thought I was a wild man on Snapchat, but my God,
There's always more. There's always more, bro. I mean,
there's always more.
yeah, I get it, bro. And I mean, honestly, I can say through my lens, growing up, particularly in a city like Miami, where there's a lot of content creation, a lot of social awareness spread out, in the sense that a lot of big people, especially in the last 5-10 years or so, have really moved there to pursue a lot in the sense of content creation, streaming, crypto, things of that nature, in the sense where a lot more people tend to have this close-minded view of the city as, oh, you can make it whatever you want to make it, or there's a lot of superficiality involved, which in a sense, coming from someone who spent their entire life there, to some extent it really does, but there's really so much more involved in that. And I can say, particularly when I got out of Miami and actually moved to Boca Raton, funny enough, was when I first realized for myself that there's more to the world than what was really around me. And even in a big city environment like that, there's a lot of the sense that, oh, you tend to get caught up in what you were surrounded by, just like really anybody else being, say, in their hometown and moving it somewhere else in their life, being like, okay, wow, this is a completely different culture shock. Like for me, I thought in my mind, like, okay, wow, I grew up only an hour away from here, and just the general culture that I tell people all the time that just the general culture is, two different worlds, pretty much. Like, you know, yeah, there's definitely, obviously, there's some similarities. Don't get me wrong, but like, I find it to where there's much more of a grounded sense that more and more people have more, I guess, of a realistic sense of mind, not to obviously bog down any great content creators or streamers or anything like that. But a lot more people, I guess, are down to earth in the sense that they're more keyed in on what they want without having a sense of, okay, I'm gonna put all my eggs into one basket and hope for the best, right?
Absolutely, 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 man. Like, I wouldn't say that some people it can be like, if you live in a different city, like big cities like Las Vegas, New York, Chicago, what other big cities there? LA, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It can affect your mindset a little bit. Like, it can make you feel like, you have, like, you're the shit type of mindset. But that's not always the case for people who live in big cities that, have a little bit of money. I've met some people who, maybe who have 1,000 followers, but they like, they're great people. Like,
Oh yeah.
they're not assholes for real. Like, they're actually amazing people.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And some, like, if they have like a big following, like, they act like, they're the shit and like, they don't give a fuck about you. And,
Got the blue check. Don't give a shit.
like,
Exactly. Like
maybe not money like that, but like,
yeah.
they're like, daddy's girl, daddy, mama's boy,
Oh
like,
yeah.
rich kids, like type
Yeah.
shit. But that's not the case for every individual. Like there's some people that like have a big following on social media, but like they're actually solid people.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
absolutely.
actually they're actually very solid. But like I said, man, like it's all social media is all about like how you present yourself, like confidence and like shit like that. But the thing is, you don't really need social media to build confidence. Like that's one thing that young motherfuckers haven't figured out. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
really don't need this shit to build confidence.
You don't. I mean, really, a lot of it is just
Yeah.
a tool to build upon yourself that you may think at first, but then again, a lot of it is just, I say, boiling down to life experience and building upon that.
Yeah, like
And
you're
that's
absolutely right. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. Like social media is just a tool, man. I'll say this 1,000 more times. It's just a tool.
oh yeah,
Like it's not real. It's not your friend. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. Like shit. It's not even a life companion. It's just a tool. Like a tool should not be anything more than just a tool. I feel like people grow too attached to social media. And is that the same with AI? Like people get attached to AI and like, they are concerned with the opinions of AI.
well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I can say a really, really big influence that AI has put on, obviously, for a lot of students, getting work done more efficiently and whatnot. I can say that's probably what a lot of us can say is, a really big benefactor of what comes into AI. But also past that, there's the daily task to say, oh, create a shopping list. For example, create a shopping list for this, create an Excel spreadsheet for, say, my finances or anything to that extent. Like, yeah, there's definitely objective things that AI is definitely beneficial for, but obviously there isn't too much of a development point yet that really we can say as people that, oh, AI is for sure going to be the absolute best possible solution for what we can use in our everyday life, because obviously there's that sort of unknown in mind that, oh, AI is going to like take over the world. It's a bunch of robots, whatever the case is, which I'm sure almost any of you out there have probably heard that sort of idea in mind. But really, a lot of it just boils down to keeping the keeping an open mind and seeing, okay, where is this gonna go? As much as it may be like on a surface level, you're like, okay, this guy's lost it, but a
Hmm.
lot of it really boils down to just keeping, like a lot of other things in life, keeping an open mind and seeing where things go. And I say it also to a similar extent. I know this might seem like a kind of distant analogy at first, but I almost equate it to meeting a new person and getting to know them, whether that be, friend, potential new relationship, whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, a new person you meet, regardless of whether it's potentially a new friend, potential new, partner, new business client, whatever the case is, you never really know. Like in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is simply just another person, like just another person I'm gonna meet, regardless of, oh, what they may have to their name or whatever they might have done. Yeah, those are obviously some factors that people can be like, oh shit, what the hell am I going to think about? But past all that, at its core belief of you meeting somebody new, all it is just a new person. And of course, everybody's different with a lot of different things that if I were to delve into that, we'd be here a while. But a lot of it really just boils down to the core idea of really just you being able to meet new people and keep an open mind with whatever it is you're doing. And that's really kind of where I find that ties into that.
All right, all right. So you're saying that, like what I'm saying, AI is just what it is, just a tool. It's just a computer. It's not a real human being.
As of right now, yeah, I can say a lot of it is just keeping a tool. And yeah, there are some facets where you can say, oh, there's an opinionated sense of AI, but I can't say
Yeah,
at least that there's enough of a development of AI to be able to say, oh, it truly generates an opinionated idea or whatever the case is.
yeah.
Like
Be,
obviously there's still plenty of advances to be made, but just in the last year and a half, 2 years alone, going from being an entirely new concept to for any potential lawyers out there being able to pass the bar exam, like that's that's pretty mind blowing to say the least.
yeah. Cause like for me, like AI, like I also use AI a little bit, but I use it as a tool. I use it as like ways to like improve not only myself as a person, but like help improve my studies. But for the self improvement, like that's all me. That's not a computer. Like that's literally all me. Like I use, I'll say use AI as a tool. Like use it when it's necessary. Don't use it, when it's like suits you. Don't use it like as an option. Hell, don't even consider it as an option when it comes to your personal life.
Yeah.
Use it as a tool always. Same thing with social media, man. It's just a tool. It's not a part of like who we are. Like I said before, you can build confidence even without social media.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because for me, like I was never really like I never really believed in my skill set. Like in a lot of things, I was always very doubtful of like my actions and just the things I did like as a kid. Because I wouldn't say I was nervous. I'll just say like I was very hesitant on a few things. Like hesitant on a lot of things. Well, I was hesitant about like relationships, friendships, shit, even my communication skills with people. I was really hesitant about the communication skills because I was always like, a very quiet kid, so I know how to go about shit like, the right way. But coming here to America because I'm originally from like Lagos, Nigeria in West Africa. So coming here, like I had shit, like it was most my mom helped me out and so did like, other family members here. Like they helped me out in a big way. And like, so did like other friends I made in the United States. They also helped me out in a big way. But that's how I learned how to elevate myself. That's how I learned how to like, just get out my comfort zone and just like, just embrace the world. Like just embrace this world and just yes, it's flawed. Yes, it has some baggage. Yes, it has some shit that comes with it. But isn't that life though? Life
Yeah.
has a lot of baggage. We all have a lot of baggage in life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, we really do, honestly. And again, as core belief, we really have, like you mentioned, a lot of baggage generally to think about and whatnot. But also, an idea I really spread around a lot, to your point, is really live in the moment and enjoy it. And obviously, you can't really use that as a universal idea for everything, but it's
you have
something.
you have to use it for like you have to use it for everything. Like always live in the moment.
And
Don't
I've
worry
actually,
about what's going to happen today, tomorrow, in the future. Just focus on the here and the now.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's funny. I've got actually a piece of scripture from a really, really great friend that he ended up giving me of, I believe it was from Philippians, where it talks about actually,
Philippines?
yeah, yeah, Philippians, yeah, the book of Philippians. So basically, it talks about, don't worry about anything, instead, pray about everything. And I can say that from, believe it or not, growing up in a Christian family and being able to build upon that. I actually went to a Christian school throughout all of middle school and high school, and I can understand that a lot of that sort of idea in mind, it tends to be kind of a mixed bag in the sense that a lot of people I've known out of, especially right after high school, let's just say, tend to feel almost lost as people in the sense that they tend to have an idea of wanting to pursue something in their life, but also trying to lose sight of certain things that may have been earlier. But I can say it's a similar idea almost of say you redeveloping as a person almost every 7 years. I don't know if you've ever heard that analogy at all.
You redeveloping as a person every 7 years. I think
Yeah,
I've heard something like that. So redeveloping as a person every like 7 years. So you gotta like just like change and just like always keep improving, right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. I highly strive for in a lot of what I do, and particularly as what I've done as a musician is really to, again, like I mentioned with foundational points and whatnot, is to always find things to improve on because a lot of times as musicians, we can tend to always point out little things we can improve on no matter what. Like we always tend to say, if you think you played something perfectly, you'd be dead wrong because at the end of the day, there's always something to improve on. Like, especially from, say, an art form perspective that we talk about a lot, is that a lot of it tends to boil down to always finding new things to improve on and always thinking in my mind and a lot of other people's minds that there's always room for improvement with a lot of things. Like it's not necessarily just say, oh, you write a paper and dot all the I's and cross all the T's, get a really great grade on and you're done. Like it's not just that. It's really just finding those ideas that are going to have some sort of room for improvement and building upon them little by little. And I know it may not seem like much initially. It's almost like that of planting a redwood tree or something like that, right? I don't know if you've heard of those trees at all, where they can grow to like 350, 400 feet, something crazy like that. Where at first you tend to think, okay, it's really not going to be much, but over time it really grows into something quite unbelievable. Like, you have the same sort of idea going back to what, at least from my perspective as a musician, that really a lot of what you can do, even as a person, there's really always room for improvement. Even if you tend to think like, oh, I make all the money in the world, get set up in a really, really amazing place to live in, feel like you're set on life almost. But, the matter of the fact is, there's no true way to be set on life. Like a lot of it's just being able to find what brings you the most happiness in life and being able to keep on pursuing that. Because at the end of the day, if we as people all had, our own desires, had, endless money, had wherever we wanted to live, whatever the case is, had no sense of really what we wanted to do past what we know, it goes back to this idea of thinking, okay, now what in my life? Like, okay, I've achieved all this, now what, right?
All right. Thank you, man.
Hey, Toby, absolutely.
All right, we're back from commercial break, and these are my other two guests right over here. Introduce yourselves, man.
You with Alec Flaka.
What about you, nigga?
And I'm Steph.
Pleased to have you boys on the show. So our next topic is going to be about choosing your friends wisely.
Right.
So with me, like my parents always told me this, like at a young hood, like I just couldn't understand this shit because I wasn't really worried about that shit. I just wanted to have fun. But they said always choose your friends wisely, always be smart about your decisions. And they told me this shit when I was like 13 or 14. You know what the hell I was thinking at 14, bro?
What was you thinking?
What you thinking, bro?
I was thinking about fun, bro. Just having fun.
That's fine.
I wasn't thinking about all that grown shit.
But do you think you chose your friends wisely? Like,
No, I mean, as I got older, like when I was around 19 or 20, like I started to like choose my homies wisely.
okay, so you think that right now you have like the perfect set of friends to help you out
Or help me out in life? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got like the good set of friends to help me out in life.
And what do you think, like on a personal scope, are good friends for you? What are
Obviously, they
criteria?
not gonna be perfect. Like everyone has like shit they going through. So I'm not expecting them to be perfect. I'll just say, have a good friends to have are like ones that always got your back.
Right.
They're always gonna like, tell you the truth, no matter if it hurts or not. They always gonna be straight up with you.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. If it's something with friends, bro, you should. The minimum, the better.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Think
Yeah.
about it. There's this common idea that, like, oh, you got to have a lot of friends to really build a lot. But
That's cap.
at the end of the day, exactly, that's cap. Like,
Nah.
we've all been at one point thinking,
Bro.
like, oh, having a lot of friends is great and all, but at the end of the day, keeping your circle small with people you can count on. Like you mentioned with being set up super well in life.
But do y'all think you need to have like different type of friends for different situations, or it's like?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, you just, as long as you trust them, as long as your circle is tight, you don't really need friends for different situations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just one friend.
Yeah.
That's it.
Unless you're talking about like, foreign friends, then like, you really don't need that for real.
Well, no, because in my point of view, like I think me personally, for example, well, I just believe that like I have different type of friends, Like I have some friends with like go out, have time out, but I also have friends to whom I open on a personal scope, like my friend Alec. I can tell him, yo, this is going back home. This is how things is family wise,
Yeah.
And I just feel like it depends on how much you open yourself to a person, but I don't open myself to all of my friends.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing.
So yeah, but my question was, do you think it's similar for you, Mr. Toby?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm saying with you, like, I have friends that, like, we'll go out, like, we'll travel. I also have, like, friends that, like, I can keep it 100 with.
Yeah.
I can tell them, like, what I'm going through, like, how to go about, like, this situation. Say, like, I have one close friend in Dallas, and let me tell you, like, she will say shit to my face. She will keep it 100 to my face.
She?
Yeah, she not going to bullshit me for a second.
It's a she, bro.
Respect, bro. I get it, man. Trust me. One of my best friends, his family's like Lebanese, like half Lebanese, half Haitian, and especially both him and his family that I'm really close with, they're always gonna be straight up, never bullshit me, and being like,
Facts.
you need to be able to get your shit together, basically. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of, like I mentioned before commercial, just again staying true to yourself and keeping almost like a tunnel vision in the sense of not letting the superficial bullshit around you get to you.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, let me ask you a question, bro. Do you find it easy to have like homegirls? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
I mean,
And keep it
Yeah.
keep
Keep
it
it
like
100.
that. Keep
Yeah.
it 100.
I mean,
bro.
you gotta be really smart about, like, the girls you allow in your life. You just not every girl can be your home girl, if you feel me.
Cause not even talking about like relationship wise. Cause also like talking to a girl is different talking to your
Yeah.
homies.
Yeah.
Like when I'm talking to my homie, bro, I feel like they feel me. But like every time I'm talking to my homegirls, like whether it's back home, whether it's here, I'm like, bro.
I feel like there's certain restrictions. So I
Yeah.
met a couple girls here, and the problem
Literally.
was like I would tell them some things that they would take personal.
Yeah.
Or like if I tell Alec, well, you played horrible today,
Facts.
It's like we literally look at each other and then boom, next day we're straight. But
Yeah.
Exactly, bro.
it's
I mean,
like-
I find a lot of it really just has to do with a lot of women's hormonal balances being a lot
Yeah.
different than men.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
like that's the thing. Dead ass. It goes through an entire month cycle where, for us as men, it just resets on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah.
That is
Alright.
true, bro.
That's true. That's true. Or you can say that men know how to take disappointment better than women.
Yeah.
in a general
That-
sense, yeah. I
But
mean,
Yeah.
I just want to let them know I'm not against gender equality wherever you're posting this Instagram. I'm not against women. I was just
We're not in the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
We're not
That's
the
fair,
80s type.
respect.
Facts, bro. I mean, no, not every girl is like that. Like, there's some girls that, like, they chill. Like, they not gonna take everything you say personally.
No, yeah. Well, I do have a homegirl.
Yeah,
Like we're very close, and yeah, I really like our friendship.
that's good.
Bro,
Shout out to you, Risa. Like, thank you for all the shit we always talk about, huh?
Bro,
But,
shout out to my homegirl for real. She
Yeah.
knows herself. But
Shout
shout
out
out to them, actually.
Yeah.
It's not
Shout out to
only
my
one.
homeboy
Risa,
James. for
Risa,
always
you the
keeping me
goat
alive.
though. You the goat.
Shout out to all my homeboys, all my homegirls.
Yeah.
I love you.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
But yeah, man, like,
No.
there's some girls where you can't just, like, say open up too much to them. You can't just say,
Girls are weird, bro. Some girls are weird for real. Like
yeah. Some
you say the most like random normal stuff that you just say like randomly.
Yeah,
bro.
on
the
Like,
daily.
let's say I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm thirsty. Some girl will be like, you're thirsty?
Exactly, bro. They got the wrong idea. Like,
no,
like-
yeah.
it's like you thirsty or you thirsty. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thirsty,
Yeah.
bro.
like
Yeah,
you
like-
want to drink, you want something to drink. You don't want y'all like that type of thirsty.
yeah, exactly, bro.
I'm talking about drinking. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, I get it.
we all know what type of thirsty they be thinking, but
Hey,
it's
we all
definitely
know.
not that.
We all know. Comment down below if you know. You know.
Yeah, like, I feel like, well, to all the girls that are watching this right now, y'all need to stop deeping things, you know? Like,
Facts.
Facts.
like it's never that deep.
Yeah,
Especially girls here, bro. Wherever we are. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
I
mention.
feel
the
like
place.
I feel like girls in college would be weird in general. It's not just like girls here in this college. Like I've seen girls in different colleges that be on some different type of bullshit.
You gotta tell the story, Toby. I'm not,
Hey, no lies there, bro.
Toby's been everywhere. Like.
I'm not gonna lie.
it ain't some wild. It's not wild shit like that, but it's just some girls be tripping about like just the smallest things. Like say if you say what's up to a girl and they would be saying like, why you trying to hit on me? I'm like, bro, what the?
Or
the fuck?
better yet, hear me out.
I'm
You're-
like-
you're at the gym, right? And you ask a girl like,
Oh,
how many
shit.
sets you got left? And their default response is like, sorry, I got a boyfriend. I'm like, I wasn't
Bro.
trying to hit on you. Like,
This is literally a problem, bro. Like we can't really,
Can't
like,
really connect with
can't be
women.
gentlemen in this generation. Like I can't hold the door for a girl and not look weird.
Yeah, that is so true.
Like,
That is so true.
Like,
man.
that's what I
I
was
was,
saying.
like-
Stop deeping things.
Yeah,
Like,
bro,
I'm
like-
just trying to be respectful.
I was
you know?
just raised one. My mama raised me right. Yeah. Like,
respect.
Yeah,
It's not-
we're not gonna do nothing crazy though.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
just doing some like simple shit.
Yeah,
like
we're not gonna kick it.
I mean, if you want to, if she's
I
down.
yeah, yeah, that's always an option, but like that's not our first thought.
It ain't our default. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah,
I,
But-
I respect women too much. I can't say no to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just throw that. Out there.
This man respects women. I respect that.
you
Yeah.
heard what this nigga say. He respect women.
Yeah. Don't you?
Like you say you can't say no to you say you can't say no to a shorty, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's a disease or something that I have.
Yeah. I mean, we all struggle with that sometimes. Like when we see like one fine shorty, it's hard to like just look the other way.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, Devin, what's your story about this?
All right. So I can tell y'all from being in a standpoint of using dating apps a lot. I can tell you it's, believe it or not, more of a way to stand out with cold approaching people than it is using dating apps. I can tell you, I use the big trinity of dating apps. Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder all at once.
Oh, what do you think? Like, you
Yeah,
deep,
but
man.
I'm probably gonna bet Bumble was ass though.
Bumble is pretty cheeks. I'm not gonna
Dope.
lie.
Toby sounds like a
but anyway,
professional or something.
I can tell you there are times where I see somebody and there's a sense of, obviously a lot of people tend to get tripped up and thinking, oh, I'm gonna go talk to this person. If I get rejected, it's gonna feel super embarrassing, whatever. But at the end of the day, I was just mentioning this before we cut to commercial. Really, a lot of it boils down to same idea of meeting a new friend, new business client, whatever. A lot of its core belief is just you meeting a new person and not knowing jack shit about them. Like
Right.
at the end of the day, they're just another human being. Like no
Yep.
matter how much of an illusion somebody may come across as like, oh, there's this ideology of perfection in their mind, thinking like, oh, they're hot shit or whatever. A lot of it really just boils down to thinking they're just another person at the end of the day. And if I make ground with that person and vibe with them, that's obviously where I know I'm gonna think in my mind like, okay, not only is this person obviously, a fine shawty in that sense of, attracting me visually, but also being in a sense of like, okay, this is somebody I can vibe with as a person. Because
So, I got a question for y'all boys. How
Run
do
it,
y'all
run it.
think? How do y'all think is the best way to like approach a woman? Like, in what scope? Because when I approach a woman, like it's usually just I'm approaching to say what's up, and then depending on how it goes, depending on the vibe, then we could push it to another level. You know.
That's fair.
And
That's fair.
yeah, that's just me. But I could find a person attractive, but
Yeah.
still set these boundaries within myself and tell
Right, of
myself,
course.
Of course.
yeah.
bro.
But
Yeah.
what do y'all think about this approach? Do y'all think like you could be friends with the finest or the most attractive girls that y'all see? Or-
Yes, like
I mean,
best
yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely,
doable.
bro.
It's
I mean, if
challenging,
the-
but doable.
I
Yeah.
mean, if the vibe is just right, then it's absolutely possible.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I can say, with generally approaching somebody, it's a matter of, catch something about them that's not necessarily gonna throw them off and be like, okay, why the hell is this guy,
Yeah.
introducing himself to me, whatever. Like, say, even something as simple as, oh, I like your outfit, you have a nice smile, something simple like that. As cheesy, corny that might sound.
Maybe the nice smile might be a little bit too corny, but everything else is good.
But I'm saying like in that sense where like
If it works, it works. I guess.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. That's I guess what Alex trying to bring off in the sense that like you try to come across as not really coming from the get go and being like, oh, I noticed this about you. I really like you a lot, whatever. Because there are way too many people I've known. I'll admit I've been guilty of it myself, where there's a sense of, oh, I find this person really attractive. I'm going to put my best foot forward. But at the end of the day, like 9.9 times out of 10, you end up doing that. That's going to lead to more harm than good.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, that the corniest shit I've ever heard a man say, this is one I used to, back in middle school, like,
Right.
one of the corniest shit I heard, like, one American say it, because we never say this shit in my country.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
where you from already?
Nigeria.
Okay.
So bitch, you cool.
Like, bro, one dude said, like, you from Tennessee? Because you the only 10 I see. Oh, shit. Bro, I just
Bro,
died.
I'm not gonna lie. I've never used those like pickup lines. Like
don't,
never.
don't, bro, don't.
No.
No,
I think
Is that even a thing, bro? I thought it was just
no, that
I
pickup
thought it was
line
just for
actually
the YouTube.
exists.
Yeah, for real.
like
No, actual Americans actually say that in real time. Like,
Some do.
you're literally the only. You from Tennessee? You're the only 10 I see, which is crazy, bro.
well, yeah. I personally don't go out and just use pickup lines because I feel like it's kind of corny.
And plus, this ain't the movies. This is real life.
It's
Right.
very corny,
Yeah.
bro. I feel like.
Like if you're out there using pickup lines, bro, like
You down bad.
you gotta reconsider.
Like, you need to reconsider some life choices.
Yeah, you-
Stop. It's that easy, bro. Stop.
Just stop.
But yeah, no hate on pickup lines, bro. Like, if you're good at it, I feel like it depends. Some people, like there's some people that, like they don't even need to do anything. Like they're just like that.
If you're vibing, you're vibing.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
A lot of it boils down to aura, basically. As as corny as that might
Nah,
sound.
facts.
Well, yeah, and I had a girl use that on me, but it was already like it wasn't like her trying to raise me up. It was just like it was when it just came out, and it was like she was just trying to make. It was just a vibe thing, It was just
Oh, okay.
laughing
So she
thing.
was just fucking around with it.
yeah.
Okay.
And I
If-
didn't know it, so I
yeah.
thought it was funny. I was like, "What is she on?"
All right. If she just saying that shit as a
Did you
joke,
fuck with it or did you think it was corny?
Well, at that point, I like already started liking the girl, so I was like, "Yo, this is funny," and she's matching the energy.
There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there
like,
you go, man.
That's
There you
it,
go.
exactly. Like one of my biggest lead on. Well, I don't want to say lead ons, but like one of my,
Go ahead,
I guess, more trademarks I really bring off that I've noticed a lot more in the sense of leading somewhere is generally, no matter what, always bring an idea of, oh, you give off great energy. Like, for whatever I can't say I know what the hell it is, but in my experience, I found it to lead to something being upon like, oh, at first, she may be like, okay, why is this guy introducing himself to me, right? But, like 9 times out of 10, you end up saying something along the lines of, oh, you have great energy, you give off a great vibe, whatever the case is. In that sort of sense, without sounding corny, obviously, like a lot of it really comes down to being able to build upon that and being able to just gently, if you especially vibe with a person, like, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer at that point. Like,
Nah, for real though. I feel like energy is the base
yeah.
to everything. If the energy is not right, everything's gonna be fucked
Yeah.
up
Yes.
Yeah.
at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end.
The energy
Like-
has to be perfect.
The energy has to be literally perfect. If you talking about like a real relationship. Because there is relationships and there is just like relationships. You know, like
Situationships.
oh,
Yeah.
this is my man's, bro. Like it's your man's for that
Yeah,
moment.
that's
but
not
like,
a relationship. It's more of
Yeah.
like a title.
yeah,
Yeah, it
you know?
is.
Yeah.
We're
It
not
really
talking
is.
about like it's more of like a title you give to each other because I feel like energy is the best thing that you need to be matching. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say perfect because I feel like
But it
everybody
has to be
got,
close to it.
yeah, like it gotta be matching. Like yeah.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, how do you do it? How do you approach girls?
I would say like what Steph said, like just use like just a simple approach. Just introduce yourselves. If it leads to like something like, greater, like, you can embrace it or you can run from it. But 9 times out of 10, like most of us will embrace like, the moment. If it leads towards that. But like, just start with something simple, like, introduce yourself. If it leads to a good conversation, like, keep at it, like, keep being engaged with it. And just like, if it leads to something, then let it lead to that.
Okay.
There you go. Respect that.
Yeah.
I respect
But
it, bro.
how do y'all approach girls? Like let's go, Alec. How do you approach girls? Like what's your riz?
Bro, I don't know, bro. I don't even know. Like,
don't
what do
know?
I do? I just let it happen, bro. For real.
Yeah.
I don't.
What happened?
Yeah,
don't-
just let that shit happen.
I feel like I never plan on approaching a girl.
Yo.
Like,
Yeah.
you feel me?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I think
That's
it
fair,
mostly
that's
depends on the
Like,
condition.
I was
Like
about-
say you
on
pull
the
up the
situation.
you pull up to Starbucks and you're like, all right, it's I
Yeah.
guess snowbunny
Nah,
heaven is
yo,
something done it.
Starbucks
Like,
be snowing.
and with no
That's
lies.
an
too.
example.
Me
That's an example,
personally,
like-
when I approach a girl, I go like I go calm. I'm calm. I'm just
Always.
Yeah.
Like I don't
always.
go like crazy. Like no.
Yeah,
That's
just
bad.
be
That's
on
bad
some calm
energy.
shit.
Yeah, just be
Yeah.
cool. And it's not even that deep because like if you shoot and you miss,
It's normal.
it's
It
not
is.
like you was playing a game.
Yeah.
It's
It
like
really is,
you're-
bro. Yeah.
you're missing at practice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you don't deep it like that. You don't take it to that level.
Exactly.
Like,
bro.
yeah, not everyone's like Steph Curry where you're gonna make every shot. Like,
Right.
you're gonna miss. Like,
Right.
shit, the misses is gonna be bad or the misses are gonna be like,
Wait, what did Michael Jordan say? You miss 100 shots you don't take or something.
he said some shit like he missed like 100 shots and like, took
Well,
had
you-
like
you
had like
re-
1,000 chances.
You miss a
You'd
100.
rather miss.
You rather
shots
miss 100
than
shots
not
than
taking
like
them.
not take any at
Yeah.
all.
Exactly. Think Kobe Bryant, even better example. Like the amount of shots that man
Is
took
absurd.
in his career,
Well,
and obviously, yeah, he's made a
But
lot,
also,
but
bro,
he's missed a lot more.
some people be taking hella shots.
That too.
Yeah.
More than needed.
Some
That
people
too.
be taking half
Yeah.
court shots first minute.
Nah, full courts, bro.
Steph, what you know about that?
Yeah. But yeah, man, like you're gonna shoot a lot of shots and you're gonna miss a few. Like that's normal. Like it's perfectly normal with girls.
Bro, let me
like
tell you something. Not even to like sound crazy.
Yo,
I've never missed a shot.
Stop the cap, bro.
stop, bro. Stop capping, bro.
I'll be straight with you, bro. Like on everything. I don't think I've missed a shot
nah, I feel like I missed a couple shots, but it was more of like the way I shot it.
I feel like I
should-
missed a good ton of shots though. I've missed a good ton.
Nah, cause I've always gotten like the end result
Nah,
at
bro,
the end of the day.
Sometimes I try to shoot. Sometimes I try to shoot over Wemby. That's impossible.
The Wemby
Yeah.
shot. Nah, that's crazy.
Nah, that's crazy.
Let me tell you something. There's nothing like impossible. Especially if we're talking about these girls right here, bro, with like the type of relationships I be seeing. I feel like, yo, there's
Nah,
not.
but yeah.
Oh
I
my
believe it.
god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Bro,
you're
yeah.
Because I think that like I can take down anything. It's not even what I see. Like even if she got 100K on Insta, like my personal mentality is
Yeah.
that I can take it down.
But
And
still,
that's how you should
It's
go
not
about
even
life.
it's not even
Yeah.
about looks no more, though.
Yeah, it's more of about
confidence and just like
It's-
personality.
It's not
Yeah.
even about looks, not about aura. It's about a whole lot of shit.
At
Facts.
the end of the day, like
What?
I
Yeah.
said,
Whoa.
it boils down to a whole lot of shit.
Cause I feel like I like my chances, like with any girl. Like I like my chances with any girl, but like you said, like you're gonna miss a few shots, you're gonna make a few shots, but overall, like it doesn't matter if she got like some clout like that on Insta or like she just famous. Like
It don't matter. For
if
real.
if I understand, if I know her like a little bit, then I like my chances. 9 times out of 10, I like my chances.
Exactly,
Yo.
bro. It's better than being like, okay, this is somebody completely new, and then just
Yeah,
expecting something to go from
yeah,
there. Because then again, like to your point, pretty much about the amount of shots you take, you're gonna miss a
Yeah.
lot more shots than you're gonna make.
Of
At the end
course.
of the day, I mean, like it boils down to what I mentioned also with the same idea of making new friends, job interviews, things of that sense,
yeah,
where I as kind of I want to say transactional almost, but it kind of seems in the sense of where you're gonna get rejected from a lot more job interviews before you land quote unquote that job. Like
Facts.
it's that same exact sort of idea with I would dare to say meeting new women and being able to get to know them. Like
yeah,
a lot of it boils down to again you're gonna miss a whole lot more than you're gonna make, and I mean even with the idea of thinking like, oh, the worst someone can say is no, I can tell you I've had a lot worse than just no thrown at me. And a lot of that really just boils down to I don't want to say it builds character, but through
it definitely prepares you for
it
like who
does.
women are, like
It really
personally.
does, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot. I think most of it has to do with like confidence and not just like aura or looks. It got to do with like confidence.
Confidence is the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Of course.
Confidence is key.
I wouldn't say you got to have like a arrogant type of confidence, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
it got to be something like you got to really believe that you stand out here. You got to really believe that like you own this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I can tell you, again coming back to at least my perspective, growing up in a city like Miami, I've had a lot of people that I thought were really friends, of course weren't,
Yeah.
but there's a sense of a lot of people I at least knew that had sort of this inflated ego in the sense of thinking, oh, if I make it with this, for example, I have a lot of friends that are in nightlife primarily, and they do well in terms of bread, I'll admit, but it really boils down to I think at least in the sense of longevity. Like, yeah, it seems super lucrative of you being in the nightlife industry for like 5-10 years. Obviously, I'm not bogging anybody down for any of that, but it I find it to where you get the most, I guess, visually attractive women you can think of in your clubs or your venues or whatever. But at the end of the day, a lot of it, again, is what I find, sticking true to what you are as a person and being able to build upon the best possible ways of that versus just thinking, oh, I'm going to try to get as many people as I can, sell as many tables as I can, get the hottest possible women in my clubs. It's because trust me, I've been around a lot of that, and I can even the amount of guys that tell me like, oh, how about like Club 11? How's that? I can tell you from the times I've been there when I used to go out a lot more that it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like it
All right.
really isn't. Like
So you're saying like every Miami like nightclub is bullshit, right?
for the most part, yeah. Like
All right. So you saying like it's just all they overrated as fuck, huh?
a lot of them are. I mean, again, it's kind of similar to where a lot of people make a similar idea of social media, of seeing it, like we were mentioning before the break, really that a lot of it is the sense of, oh, thinking of it almost being too deep into it rather than just thinking of it, oh, as a tool, basically. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's that, social media, at the end of the day, it's a tool. And being able to go out and meet new people, it's also a tool.
Nah.
And
Wait, say that shit again.
sorry.
Hold on, say that shit again.
Toby said run it back one more time.
You said like
Toby
going
needs
out to
it.
meet new people is a tool
Is the word.
Yeah, it's a tool to meeting people.
Let me
Yeah.
let me read
or a skill.
Let me reiterate. Yes,
tool,
it's a
Toby.
skill,
And a
but
tool.
It's a
Yeah.
tool.
certain certain places, like say going out to clubs and meeting new people, that's a tool. Like why I say, at least from my perspective, I find spots like that are particularly one of the worst places to meet people in that sense, because you get a lot of people that they're going to be drawn to obviously those who have tables and those who do well for themselves, just
There we go.
based off that on the surface level. Right? And think about it. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down, right?
No,
Yeah, we
yeah.
understand what you're trying to say.
Definitely.
Bro, the club life just gets to a point, bro. Like, for example, for me, bro, I feel like I've lived much of the club life. Like, I've experienced everything.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? I got stories and stories. Like, and at the end of the day, it gets to a point. Like, am I gonna keep doing this like every weekend and stuff and stuff? But also, it's as he was saying, it's crazy helpful. Like the people I've met, there's obviously some bad people I've met at the club and stuff.
Obviously.
But especially Miami, bro, hella connections.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
Hella connections. Let me tell you something. Going to the club for me in Miami wasn't only to have fun, bro. I was meeting, because I'm a DJ too, like in real life. I was meeting DJs and stuff. Bro, it's just crazy helpful. But it's also
Absolutely.
crazy in real life. Like,
Facts.
crazy stuff gonna happen to you. You gonna
Yeah.
have crazy stories to tell for sure.
Facts.
Oh, you ain't
Oh,
going
Toby,
there. No
ha-
lies
ha-
there, bro.
Yeah.
Have you been going out Miami and all that?
I mean, I still go out a little bit, but not to nightclubs as much. But like, I go out like to meet up with friends or just like to hang out around the city. But I have experienced like the club life. I've seen the good and the bad side of it.
And did you enjoy the experience of the club life?
I mean, like early on, like when I was like during my freshman year, like I enjoyed it like a lot, maybe a little bit too much. Cause like there was a time where I was going out to Miami for Lauderdale every weekend.
Nah.
And then like there are moments where like I was drunk as hell like during the daytime. Cause me and like my friends like during my first year like we always like have some wild pre games where we like drink half a bottle of like Fireball or vodka like some nights.
TMI.
TMI, bro, TMI.
Yeah.
But
the Florida life.
Yeah, I remember. You was
Yeah.
telling me how you was going to Munchies.
Nah, munchies.
Nah,
Let's
we
actually.
don't talk
Alright.
about